It's common knowledge at this point that the housing market is on fire, and not just in Silicon Valley, not just in the San Francisco Bay Area, but all around the country. And if you've been watching my videos for any period of time, you'll know that I've been pretty transparent in indicating that at some point in 2021, we are going to see the real estate market here neutralize in some capacity. But neutralization doesn't necessarily mean depreciation or a declining market. And that's what we really want to discuss today is when will the market neutralize? A. B, will there be a decline in prices at that point? B, and not only that, is there going to be a decline in prices, but will we see a massive drop? And when is all of that going to occur? I mean, there are just so many different questions here that we need answers to. And the best way to answer these questions is to look at the data, to analyze it and see historically how we stack up and really gauge how this market is going to play out for the remainder of the year. Because whether you're a home buyer, whether you're a home seller, whether you're just a home owner that's curious about the market, regardless of your situation, there are massive implications here for you, regardless of what position you're currently in. So enough of that. Let's get into the numbers. Let's get into the data. First things first, you see Santa Clara County numbers. We are at 1,291 homes pending right now. That's insane. And we only have 915 homes available. Do the math. There is a huge discrepancy there, and those pending sales are far outpacing the current supply that we have here in Santa Clara County. Flipping over to San Mateo County, it's a little bit of a different narrative there. Pendings are at 446, and we have 464 active homes on the market. So practically even. We're seeing the same amount of homes go pending. And by the way, you see the sold data there. The sold data is trailing data. We really want to see how the pending sales are stacking up against the active inventory. Why? Because pending sales are a lead metric. Sales are a lagging metric. Make sense? Okay. And by the way, if you're a home buyer in today's marketplace and you would like a comprehensive data set similar to what you're seeing right now for the area that you're looking in, go ahead and text the word data plus the neighborhood, zip code, or area that you're looking in, and we will get that data delivered straight to your inbox. And if you're a home seller in today's marketplace, you're looking for something like this to help you make an educated decision when it comes to pricing your property, you can go ahead and text the word data plus your property address, and we will send a report right to your inbox. Flipping over to San Benito County, the narrative has stayed the same in San Benito County for many, many months now, where we're seeing huge drops in supply year over year. Right now, we're at a 61% decrease year over year, month to date in terms of active supply on the market. And we have 60 homes pending in the month of February. Now, remember, this is February data. We're currently in the middle of March right now. But looking at this data, you're going to see this is important, and I'll explain why. But wow, that is a huge discrepancy between the number of pending sales and the number of for sale inventory. Flipping over to San Francisco. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because if you paid attention to anything in 2020, San Francisco completely plummeted. It was in a free fall for a little bit, especially in the condo sector, the tenant and comment sector, TIC. We had a lot of co-ops, everything. All of those types of housing, apartment style living, if you will, in San Francisco, got absolutely blasted. And now we're starting to see the market turn a little bit. Inventory levels are clearly up, and they're up not just a little bit, by a lot, in comparison to this same time last year. That being said, pending sales are up quite a bit as well. We have 26% increase month to date year over year in pending sales, versus 138% month to date year over year in terms of for sale inventory. Now, the narrative up until this point in San Francisco has been a little bit different. I mean, you start to see those inventory levels really coming down, especially from that August, September timeframe. You're starting to see the inventory levels pull back a little bit. At some point, we're going to see a neutralization rather in the marketplace in San Francisco. I'm guessing that by middle of summer, we're starting to see things even out a little bit, even more in San Francisco, should these trends continue. So if you're you're a home owner in San Francisco, this is great news for you. If you're a home seller in San Francisco, still not the greatest news for you. Flipping over to Contra Costa County, we are seeing 1,096 homes pending in Contra Costa County versus 600 homes on the market. Just think about that. We have over almost double the amount of homes pending than we do that are currently listed for sale in Contra Costa County. That is a recipe for a fast appreciating market. I can tell you that my team has been writing offers nonstop in Contra Costa, Alameda, Santa Clara County, San Mateo counties, and San Benito counties. We've experienced all 5 of those marketplaces. The least competitive is San Mateo County. The most competitive right now is Contra Costa County. Just in the sense that just from a pure offers perspective, like how much competition do we currently have on the buy side? And this is for anything under 3 million at this point. So you're still seeing like massive equity gains of your homeowners pretty much everywhere in the Bay Area, but especially if you own a home in Contra Costa County. That's like having a lotto ticket for $1 million. It really is something special, and maybe something that we won't see for a very, very long time in terms of equity gain. Flipping over to Alameda County, 1,040 homes pending versus 672 homes active on the market. So again, same thing. We're seeing a huge discrepancy between pending sales and for sale inventory. Huge discrepancies there. So I can only imagine what some of you at home are thinking, my God, Danny, this is the 7th or 8th snapshot in a row that you've shot where you've done nothing but talk about how hot the market is and how crazy it is. So let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to when is this market going to neutralize? To me, the market that we're experiencing right now in 2021 is eerily similar to the market that we experienced in 2018. So what I did was I pulled the Santa Clara County data for all homes, the exact same graph that we saw for Santa Clara County before 2021, now pulled for 2018. And when you see the graph here, it's going to look a little similar here. So in January and February and March, April and May, what you see is something very similar to what we're experiencing right now, where pending sales are outpacing supply, not just by a little bit, but by quite a large margin. And if you pay attention to that graph, you'll start to see that in April and May, that gap started to shrink. The delta between pending sales and inventory levels started to shrink. And by May and June, by June, we started to see pendings slip and fall behind active inventory. And then we saw a huge spike in inventory in August, September, October, kind of in that early fall timeframe. Right as the market typically takes off in the fall, we experienced an even greater kind of like depression of the market. Notice in 2021's graph that we had that same narrative play out in January and February of this year. So what does that mean for us? Well, if we look at the 2018 data, shows us that we had 5 solid months of pending sales outpacing supply. 5 solid months of perfect seller market conditions. But that market didn't last forever, and neither will this market. And what's worth noting even more is that the numbers started to indicate or started to reflect the market conditions in June, July, and August of 2018. But us as realtors, we actually started experiencing the slowdown and noticing it as early as April of 2018, when the newspapers were singing, "Oh my God, the market is on fire." Well, in April, late April of 2018, we were already starting to feel the slowdown in some specific communities and areas and counties of the Bay Area. And so when we look at this data, what it tells us is, yes, a lot of these metrics will indicate to us a slowdown, but on the front lines, we will start to experience it sooner rather than later. And so here's the question, is when that happens, who's going to step up and tell you about it? Well, number one, you can definitely tune in here. I mean, I'm no stranger to telling people how it is. And right now, the market is absolutely crazy. I do not see what we were experiencing in April of 2018, but if history was to repeat itself, then we could expect things to start to maybe slow down or start to neutralize. Experiencing it, maybe not seeing the data for it, but experiencing it in late April or early May of this year. And so when that happens, you can definitely rest assured that we will communicate that to you, and I will communicate that to all of those who are watching the Silicon Valley Snapshot. But even still, the question really becomes, well, when the market neutralizes, at what point is it smart for home buyers to re-enter the marketplace? Because those who are watching at home right now are thinking, well, yeah, I definitely want the market to slow down because I can't afford a house right now. Well, I've got news for you. If you can't afford it now, you won't be able to afford it after the neutralization. Let's look at the Santa Clara County numbers for 2018. This is a graph here of the average sales price to list price ratio. Look at these numbers. In February of 2018, 110% sales price to list price ratio. In March of 2018, 111. In April, 110. In May, 109. In June, 107. In July, 104. In August, 102. And it's not until November of 2018 that we saw homes selling for under what they were originally listed for. You have to remember, list prices are predicated upon market value of the home. So think about that. It took until November for homes to sell under what sellers deemed to be their market value, the market value for their home. Fascinating, because what that tells me is that there were 10 months where homes were selling for more than the seller expected them to. You do the math. If that narrative were to play itself out again in today's marketplace, how much more will you as a home buyer be paying in November of this year than you would if you just did it now? Now, I'm not sitting here and telling you that it's the right time to buy for every single person in the market. Everyone's situation is unique, and sometimes especially with down payment situations, if the down payment that you're looking to put down is going to increase dramatically over the next 6 to 8 months, it might be a good opportunity to wait, right? But if you're trying to save or if you're trying to step out of the market because you think you're going to get a better deal in 12 months, you are sorely mistaken. Home sellers, what does this mean for you? Well, number one, this market's not going to last forever. So if you want to capitalize on selling your home quickly, right, and with multiple offers and getting record-breaking sales, right, numbers, then you should sell right now, or as close to right now as you possibly can. If history were to repeat itself, you could start to see the higher levels, the higher level homes. We're talking 2.5 million here. Those sales will start to slow down about mid to late April if history repeats itself. So you got about a solid month to put your home on the market before we start to see those types of properties slow down. And it might not be until May, June until we see a complete slowdown in the single family space. The condo and townhome space may slow down significantly before then. And so these are the things that you have to take into consideration. It's not just the market in general, but the property type as well. So many different factors, and that's why I highly encourage all of you that if you're in a position to buy or thinking about buying, you don't really know what to do, you can definitely text that word data to the number down below, plus the area that you're looking in or zip code, and we will send you a data set. We'll get on the phone with you. We'll actually talk through your situation with you to see if it's the right time for you to buy now, or maybe if we should wait a little bit. And if you're a home seller, my God, do you need any more evidence to show you that now is the time? It's not tomorrow. It's not the day after that. It really is now. If the plan was to move in the next 12 to 24 months, if I were you, I'd put it on the market right now. There's no question. There's no question about it. I don't care what kind of, unless you own a condo that you might be able to rent out for the next 3 years or so, chances are your equity gains will not surpass what they are currently at today's market prices. That's all I got for you guys. Again, this is Danny Gould with the selling Silicon Valley Group, and I will catch all of you in the next Silicon Valley Snapshot.